There's no time for a theme. We have too much to get to. Hello, welcome to a very massive edition of Metallic Reviews, the show where I give honest ratings, honest music, blah, 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 blah. You guys already know the drill. Today's episode is huge. It's epic. Why? Because we got to get to two of my most anticipated releases of the year. Yes, not one, but two. As always, if you're a regular viewer of these reviews or if you're new, make sure to leave a comment and let me know what you thought. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. It really helped the channel out. Without further ado, let's jump into the first of two reviews here. Now, first out of the chute is Christian metalcore band Wolves at the Gate and their new album Eulogies, out March 11th on Solid State Records. Now, before we dig any further into this record, let me say that I appreciate this band for both its music and its message. Now, that's a rarity for a lot of bands that I listen to, but as a Christian, this is one time where the music and lyrics both speak to me on an equal level. That said, this album, front to back, is incredible. It's really enjoyable. Fans of bands ranging in diversity from the heavier side of metalcore like August Burns Red to the more accessible side of metalcore like Light the Torch, everybody should really enjoy it. The band has outdone itself, crafting an album full of songs that really stick in your mind. If I had one thing to say, just one complaint about their previous output, it would be that the tracks just weren't quite catchy enough. Their 2014 album 5x5 was particularly guilty of this. However, with each subsequent release, they've gotten better and better, and Eulogies presents their songwriting at its most composed. The album kicks off with the single Shadows, which does a terrific job setting the tone for the rest of the release, which has a lot of dynamic diversity on here. The band, they're not afraid to push heaviness, but they're also not afraid to pull back and let the listener just breathe and hear what's being presented. There's a number of brilliant tracks on here. There's the heavier tracks like Weight of Glory and Stop the Bleeding, to quiet beauty like No Tomorrow and a Shane and Shane cover, Embracing Accusation. There's the punk-infused Kiss the Wave and the rocker Lights and Fire. Just a bunch of really amazing songs on here. But my favorite is probably the title track, because it expounds upon everything that the album has to offer in music and message alike. Now, speaking of message, the record has a beautiful one. Again, it presents a lot of bleak themes that many secular metal bands write about. However, by offering the Rock of Salvation as a solution to these causes, there's just a joy. There is a joy that is present on this album that you don't get on many other albums. It's a message of peace and hope that's really needed, especially during these trying times. It's relatable, and it never ever tries to be preachy. It offers itself up as being equal in terms to everyone listening and pushing for a salvific need deep within one of us. Where every human has failed and fallen short, there's only one who can save, and that's the heart of the message presented. In light of its amazing music and message, it gets a 5 out of 5. Next, we have a band that I judge solely based on music. Yes, it's Ghost, with their new album Impera, which also came out March 11th, but it's on Loma Vista Recordings. Their last album, Prequel, garnered the distinction of being my 2018 album of the year, and I still stand by that opinion. So, how they do in the follow-up? Let's find out. This is an album that's not going to hook someone on the first listen. That's the first big difference from Prequel, which had a lot of sing-along parts just right from the beginning. Now, Impera holds the same inaugural bombast, but it still tosses a lot of curveballs that's going to cause the listener to stop and rethink everything they know about this band. Album opener Kaiserion does a terrific job setting the tone for the rest of the album, which is really an amalgamation of everything Ghost has ever done. The aforementioned Kaiserion and Spillways would be right at home on Prequel. Other songs like the aggressively symphonic 20s might just sneak onto Infestissimum, just like in the back door there. Then you have Call Me Little Sunshine and Darkness of the Heart of My Love that would fit perfectly on Meliora or even the Pope Star EP. There's just so many amazing combinations on here that it can be overwhelming at the first listen. However, the genius here is that the more you listen, the more you get into it. At least that's how it was for me. Is it as blatantly catchy as Prequel? In some ways not. But I don't think it needs to be. Ghost is one of the bands that's just on top of the rock world right now, and releasing an album like this at this point in their career is absolutely brilliant. But I think my favorite moment on the album is actually in the closing track, Respite on the Spital Fields. The song itself is really good, but it's brilliant in that it comes full circle by heading back to the instrumental intro track, but injecting even more of that bombast to it. It's a great bit of musical phraseology, causing the listener to want to go back and repeat the intro all over again, thus leading to repeat listen after repeat listen. This is musical trickery at its finest, and I'd expect nothing less from Tobias Forge, having been a Ghost fan for years now. Do I have problems with the album? Actually, I do. Small ones, here and there. Is it as good as Prequel? Yeah, in some ways not. Now, don't get me wrong, Impera is an amazing record, but with a band as thoroughly incredible as Ghost, I feel like I have to separate their albums by the tiniest of margins, like the slimmest of things. With Prequel, the entirety of the album was catchy and fun, and just a delight to listen to. Impera's first half is insane, it's really, really good, but the second half has some songs that, they're growing on me. You know, just listening to them over and over again, they're still growing on me. But again, that's a tiny, tiny nitpick on what is another fantastic Ghost record. I can't give it anything less. It's a 5 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching. Click like, and don't forget to subscribe for more metal reviews. Next time, we head into black metal territory and review Dark Funeral's new album, We Are the Apocalypse. I hope you join me. You've been watching Metallic Reviews, where I give honest ratings to honest music. I'll see y'all next time.